What's good, guys? Let's talk about your brain. Have you ever noticed how your mind just kind of goes sometimes? You're at work and a thought hits, did I screw up that pitch? And suddenly you're down a rabbit hole imagining your boss thinks you're slacking. Or you're out with your friends and a random thought like, why is he acting so off tonight? Turns into a full-on mental script about being judged. We've all been there, but real talk, it's not just those thoughts messing with you, it's how you think about thinking that's throwing you off and messing with how clearly you're thinking. Your expectations about what your mind should do are distorting the whole game. Let's break it down and figure out how to navigate that. So first, let's get real about how thoughts actually work. Most of us assume our minds should be like a tidy toolbox, organized, logical, ready to pull out exactly what we need. But science says that that's not how it goes. Your brain's more like a DJ spinning tracks on the fly. Research on the default mode network, a fancy term for your brain's background chatter, shows it's constantly pumping out thoughts, memories, and worries even when you're just chilling. Thoughts don't line up like a playlist. They flow like a river, blending into each other without clear starts or stops. And here's something that you might have noticed. Thoughts can feel a lot like emotions. A thought like I'm falling behind at work hits with the same weight as a wave of stress does. That's because the same brain regions, like the amygdala, fire up for both. So when you're stressing about a buddy's weird vibe at the bar, that thought's got an emotional charge that makes it stickier. And your brain loves to take these thoughts and spin them into stories, like imagining a whole argument that never actually happened. That's just your mind trying to make sense of uncertainty, stitching thoughts into narratives. But expecting those thoughts to be neat and tidy, that's where you get tripped up. We've all been there thinking, I should just stop overthinking this. Maybe it's about a work deadline, or a date that went sideways, or what your friends are thinking of you. You tell yourself, man, just think straight. But trying to control your thoughts is like trying to wrestle a wave. It just doesn't work. And science backs this up. When you try to shut down a thought, it actually gets louder. Psychologists call this ironic process theory. Your brain's not built to be a control freak. It's wired to mix thoughts, emotions, and random memories on the fly. And this is especially true for thoughts that hit close to home, like worrying about how you're coming across. Studies show self-referential thoughts, stuff about your status or how others see you, are extra sticky because they tap into your sense of self. So when you're at a party and think, am I fitting in? Your brain's off to the races with that, building a story. Expecting to just turn that off is setting yourself up for frustration because that's not how your mind actually works. Here's where it gets real. The way you think thoughts should work is what's messing you up. Now let's break that down. Here's what you think thinking should be like, and here's what your brain actually does. You think thoughts should be orderly, like a game plan. You want them to line up neatly with a clear start and a clear finish, like I'm thinking about this work email, done, next task. But your brain actually churns out thoughts like a stream, blending one into another without clear boundaries. A thought about a meeting can jump to a memory of last weekend, then to a worry about tomorrow, all in a matter of seconds. Next, you think you should control your thoughts like flipping a switch. You figure you can just stop stressing about that weird look that somebody gave you. But your brain actually spits out thoughts spontaneously, and trying to control them makes them louder. It's like telling yourself not to think of a cold beer. Good luck with that. Next, you think thoughts should be rational and make sense. You want them to be logical, like solving a math problem, not random or emotional. But your brain actually mixes thoughts with emotions, especially about yourself or social stuff. A thought like, did I come off okay, feels heavy because it's tied to insecurity, not because it's a puzzle to solve. Next, you think thoughts should lead to answers. You expect to figure out why your coworker was short with you or what your friend meant by that comment. But your brain actually spins ambiguous thoughts into stories that don't always resolve. Social thoughts especially, they linger because you can't read minds, and your brain is just guessing. Now, this gap between what you expect and what your brain actually does makes your mind feel chaotic, especially when you're in your head during social situations. It's creating anxiety and stress, which are hurting the clarity of your thinking. Additionally, constantly feeling frustrated that your mind isn't functioning the way you think it should can lead to negative self-talk and negative thoughts because you feel like there's something wrong with you or that you're not living up to some standard that you've set. It's like expecting a storm to be a sunny day. You're fighting reality, and that's what makes you feel stuck. So, how do you stop this distortion and get back in the driver's seat? Mindfulness. I know, as I always say, sounds like some soft stuff, but it's legit, backed by science, and practical. Mindfulness isn't about your mind always being calm or becoming a Zen master. It's about seeing your thoughts for what they are, temporary like clouds or emotions, and not getting sucked into the trap of thinking that they should be different. Studies show it dials down your brain's overactive storytelling mode and helps you stay present. The big thing, you can't control which thoughts pop up, but you can get better at choosing which ones you're going to engage with, like picking your battles. So here's how to make it work, no incense required. First, catch the should trap. When your mind's racing, say about a work screw up or a friend's off vibe, pause and ask, am I expecting my thoughts to be tidy or controllable? Just noticing that expectation, like wanting a clear answer to why someone acted weird, cuts its power. Next, treat thoughts like emotions. Next time a thought like, I'm not cutting it, hits, don't wrestle with that. Think of it like a wave of frustration. Just let it roll through you. Label it, this is a worried thought. Research shows naming thoughts creates distance with them, so you're not drowning in the story that's being created. Next, ground yourself in your body. When you're stuck in your head, especially around people, focus on something physical, like your feet on the ground, the weight of the glass of water you're holding, your breath. This pulls you out of mental loops, and science says it shifts your brain into the present moment. Next, let go of the control myth. Accept that thoughts are messy and don't need to be fixed. A quick mental note like, my mind's just doing what my mind is supposed to do, stops you from judging yourself or having a busy brain. Practice thought selectivity. You can't stop thoughts from showing up, but you can choose which ones you're going to roll with. When a thought like they're judging me hits at a party, ask, is this worth my focus or is it just noise? Shift your attention to something real, like what your friend is saying. Science shows your brain follows where you point your attention. So practice picking thoughts that help, not ones that drag you down. Over time, this will get easier. It's sort of like building a muscle. Next time you're at a bar or a work meeting and your mind starts spinning, am I coming off okay? Take a second to breathe, feel your feet, label the thought, and choose to focus on the moment instead of the worry. It's basically like hitting reset without fighting your brain. Here's the deal. Your thoughts aren't the enemy. It's thinking they should be neat, controllable, or logical that's distorting everything. Your mind's not a filing cabinet. It's a river flowing with thoughts and emotions that don't always make sense or wrap up nice and neat. That's normal, especially when you're stressing about work, your friends, or how you're coming across. The gap between what you expect from your thoughts and how they actually work is what's tripping you up. Mindfulness lets you close that gap, not by controlling your thoughts, but by seeing them clearly and letting them pass. So start small. Try one of those steps this week, like catching the should or grounding in your body. You'll find you're not just stuck in your head, you're navigating it like a boss. You got this. If you resonated what was in this video, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.